and to address this very important forum for EU and for the Mediterranean region. Let me, previous speakers and ministers have addressed a couple of main challenges we have in Europe in terms of energy. Let me say that over the last couple of years, the situation has evolved quite a bit, because now we came with the targets for 2030, and I'll refer to that because for this we put in place the Energy Union project. We need to reflect also on how things evolved since 2008 when we had the famous 2020 targets. Since then, we had the financial crisis, and a lot of energy investment which were required were maybe deferred, and this is an important thing to reflect on. Also, we had the Fukushima, so some European countries decided to go out of nuclear. We had the Ukrainian crisis, which brought us back to the importance of security of supply. We had also developments in terms of renewables, which became much and more competitive, the capex being reduced significantly over the last 5 years. We have seen a lot of price volatility, which was referred to, with all the implications it has also on investments. We had Paris with the COP21. So, and all this in a context which by 2030, the International Energy Agency foresees a growing energy demand by 30% in the world. So it's clear that the competition in resources, the geopolitical counts very much, but also technologies count very much. And then we have to face a number of challenges. First is indeed import dependency, but we also have to look at energy prices and competitiveness, as it was mentioned by Mr. Mitzi as well. We also have to look at decarbonization. And last but not least, the big challenge we have to face, and this makes a link with the previous panel, is the technology mix. 20, 30 years ago, it was a relatively simple puzzle to put the energy picture into pieces, 20 technologies. We had hydro, we had coal, we had nuclear, some gas, and a little bit of renewables. We move now into a different world where a lot of new technologies become now more efficient, are a reality, distributed generation, fuel cells, smart grids. All these concepts now get to reality, and we have to take advantage of that, but it's of course a much more complex game, with not with 20 pieces puzzle, but 1,000 pieces puzzle with even more actors that we have to put together. And in this context, we came with the Energy Union project, which I will give you now a brief update, built on 5 pillars, as you well know: energy security, but also energy efficiency, internal market, decarbonization, research and innovation. To put together this project at European level, we need, of course, to cooperate with all the countries also in the neighborhood, and therefore the cooperation with Mediterranean countries is extremely important and highly relevant, because the 5 pillars of the Energy Union are very relevant to create a dynamic, connected energy market into the Mediterranean region as well. This year is a year of a delivery. We work hard to bring all these proposals by the end of the year, and next year to negotiate the year after with the Parliament and the Council. Already this year in February we came with the security of supply package, which including a strategy on energy, and we agree that energy, especially for maritime, is extremely important for the future. We had the heating and cooling strategy and the security of gas supply regulation revision with much more focus on regional plans. We also had the program, first communication on the nuclear illustrative program, looking at the investments related to safety after Fukushima in Europe. We established a market group, an expert group on electricity interconnections also in Europe. Due to the target we have 2030 a 15% interconnection, to see how and in which way we are going to achieve that. We also start now to look for the next trimesters, the 3rd and the 4th of this year, to revise the energy efficiency package, the energy efficiency directive and the EPBD directive, Energy Performance of Buildings directives. And last but not least, and which is essential for everything to come into place, the renewables, which is very important, I will come back to that, and the market design. This is absolutely essential because now Europe has succeeded to have 16% renewables in the energy mix. It's a double from what it was in 2004. But this has to continue, and our President Juncker insists on good ground to have Europe leading in renewables in the world. This is justified by more than 1 million jobs created so far in Europe and a turnover of over 140 billion euros. Plus the fact that in 1 year alone, in 2014, 50 billion euros were invested in power generation renewables in Europe. So it's a driver of economic activity, but we have to see all this new market design and all these things, how they come together in the new context, which is a context where the energy systems have to evolve towards two main characteristics, flexibility and adaptability. And this is very essential, and it's very important this to be transferred as a message also to the other partners in the Mediterranean area. And for this, we have a framework of cooperation, Union for the Mediterranean, which relies on 3 platforms on energy, one on natural gas, one on regional electricity markets, and another platform on renewables and energy efficiency. Speaking about electricity, the focus is, of course, the development of the Maghreb electricity ring, but also the Maastricht regional electricity interconnection network. And here we are very pleased to note the interconnector, which was done last year, Malta-Italy, is a very big success, not only for Malta, but also for Europe. We also, in the framework now, moving a little bit to gas, where we intend to develop Mediterranean resources, and not only to work with the countries who have the resources. Of course, this is an important priority to explore more efficient these resources, being in Eastern Mediterranean or in Algeria or in other countries, but also to develop a more fluid market for gas and a much more competitive one. And here I would like to mention also a project of common interest, the one on Italy-Gela gas pipeline, as well as the LNG storage regasification unit floating in Malta. Now, renewables, just a word, they are also very important. There is a big potential. This was proven in Egypt, in Jordan, in Morocco. We are now launching a business forum following the visit of Mr. Canete to Alger last year. We are going in May now to have a big business forum in Alger to focus not only on gas and improving the efficiency and access to gas resources, but also renewables and energy efficiency. And we support all these things not only through a policy dialogue and through the policies we put in place, but also through a number of financial instruments. And here I mentioned already the project of common interest, the Connecting Europe Facility with the 5 billion euros. But in addition to that, I should mention at EU level the structural funds, where over 3 billion euros are available for infrastructure, the European Investment Bank. And because the needs in general for investments in the energy sector are so huge, only in EU we speak about 1 trillion euro all infrastructure, power generation, transmission, distribution, oil, electricity and gas. We need to leverage. We need to leverage, and for this purpose, we came with the European Fund for Strategic Investments, so-called Juncker's Plan, which is very much based on financial instruments. In addition to this, last but not least, I would only refer to the Neighborhood Investment Facility, which also, to leverage it, managed in the previous period to raise, in addition to the 1.1 billion euros from the Commission, other 12 from other European financial institutions, and in total to leverage up to 25 billion euros investment in the Mediterranean also area, very relevant. Finally, as my time passed as well, I would like to thank you very much for your attention and to ensure Malta that we are very much willing to cooperate. Our Director General, Mr. Ristori, asked me to pass a message. He's looking forward to Maltese presidency next year to work on energy priorities. Thank you for your attention.